Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Mental Monday for this week. So this week I wanted to talk about something that is kind of something I've lightly touched on. Not really delved in too deep into it before though. So I want to talk about comparison. Comparison is something that I have struggled with really as far back as I can remember. I very much am a people watcher. I love trying to watch the storylines of people around me or trying to figure out what they're doing, figure out what they might be thinking. And in that, I very, very easily become victim to comparison, where I'm seeing what they're doing, I'm seeing progress they're making, or just where they're at. And I legitimately forget all of the progress or hard work I've put in, everything I've accomplished, and I think I am not enough. I have not done enough. I am not where I should be. I could do more. That just starts the bad thinking patterns that lead to further insecurity, further low self-confidence, and you lose your joy. You lose your contentment. You lose your happiness. You lose your perspective so much that you can't appreciate yourself, anything around you, where you've gotten, anything you've already done, and you completely forget all of that happened before, and it's all of a sudden not good enough. And I know that might sound extreme, and it doesn't always look that extreme, and of course it's going to be different for everybody, but I just over and over and over again have caught myself becoming discontent because of seeing where somebody else is at, especially when it comes to Facebook. Facebook is like a trap for comparisons, and that can be in any department. That can be in infertility. That can also be in the way you look, what house you have, how much you're making, what job you have, what level of school you've gotten yourself to. If you finish school, whatever that thing may be that a lot of your friends on Facebook have been working on, or even just one particular person. It doesn't have to be a huge group of people. It can be just somebody that catches your eye and you notice what they're doing or where they're at, or something about them that you're trying to get better in that area yourself, and you see them making huge strides that you feel like you're killing yourself trying and it's just not working, and feeling bad about that. So I myself, through the rest of this year, have really been trying to work harder on not comparing myself, on reminding myself why I love where I'm at right now, why I'm appreciative of where I'm at right now, and who I have around me, and what I have been doing, what I've been working towards, and the progress I've made. Taking a second to remind yourself of that can kind of counteract that enough to stop it from being a habit. If you do that enough, it creates the opposite as a habit, which is good. So comparison can look like all of those different things I listed: discontentment, unhappiness, bitterness, insecurity, and those can kind of bubble under the surface until it all blows up, and then you realize what you were really upset about. It's not always blatantly, I need what she has, or I am not good enough in comparison to her. It's not always that blatant. So it's easy for comparison to sneak up on you, and you to kind of find yourself not feeling right, not feeling like you did before, and then you realize later, oh my gosh, I was scrolling on Facebook a lot, and right now there's a lot of people having babies. So that's hard because that brings on comparison. And that in and of itself can give you a bad start to anything you are trying to work on and make progress in, that you could be comparing yourself to other people with. So it really is counterproductive in a ton of ways, and it's just so mean to yourself, so unhealthy. And I know I definitely want to make those changes this year and kind of get myself out of that habit. And I've already been working on it quite a bit, but you can always get better, especially for me with that one. That's a really hard one for me. I put so much more pressure on myself than anybody else does, and I put so much more expectation on myself than anybody else does. So I am my own worst enemy with that, and I can be like, I'm not good enough, look at what they did. And if I actually tell that to somebody, they're like, what are you talking about? Have you seen what you did? Calm yourself. And I have to reorient myself a moment. So I thought I would give just a few ways to kind of fight comparison and create little habits that help you stay away from comparison or keep control over your own temptations with that, and kind of help that not be a killjoy for you, not be a joy stealer, and make you discontent and unhappy when it's unnecessary. And you really have every right to be happy where you're at. So my first way is to limit social media if necessary. If you find yourself on social media a lot, and you find that after you spend time on social media is when you start feeling bad about the things in your life, that is a major indicator that that is where your comparisons are coming from. If it's with spending time with people in your life, that's different. But if you directly can link it to social media, if you are not to a point where you think you need to cut off social media for a while altogether, I would suggest at least limiting it, because that gives you the control back over, I'm not going to pay attention to this. Instead of focusing on what everybody else is doing and where everybody else is getting to, I'm going to focus on my goals and what I'm trying to get to. And that will be the best thing you can do for yourself to continue making progress and not get stopped up with comparisons. So the second way is to find things you appreciate about you that you also see in other people, that you can kind of relate to them with rather than comparing yourself to them. So if you see somebody that is hugely successful in their job, look for similarities in what your hobbies are, or look for similarities in music or TV shows or something like that, that kind of can in your mind level out the playing field and remind you that they're not that different from you. That can kind of break that rose-colored picture of that person, and it can remind you that they're really not that different from you. And then it becomes okay that you're both at two different places in some other area. So my third and final tip is to, as I've always said, remind yourself of what you appreciate about yourself. If you are somebody that struggles with comparison, that can be majorly helpful. I know when I say that, it can kind of sound like boosting your own ego, but when you're struggling with those specific things that I've talked about it with, it really doesn't work that way. When you're struggling with something like that, you have a hard time seeing stuff you appreciate about yourself. You have a hard time with that confidence and coming up with things you feel good about yourself. So that's almost the exact opposite of it. And that can be what breaks that mold for you, what breaks that habit of comparing yourself, of putting yourself down, of having negative self-talk, of not taking opportunities or chances because you don't feel good enough. And that has been one of the major ways I've been able to break some of those struggles in my own life, has been really reminding myself more and more of why I can feel good about myself and why I can feel appreciative about things about myself and what I like about myself, what I'm proud of that I've accomplished. And that can be very helpful. It also helps to have somebody in your life that's good at reminding you as well. So you're hearing it even when you're not giving it to yourself, and it doesn't become too much of a normal, and you're not just getting like, yeah, okay. Because after that, it stops having the helpful effect of reminding yourself of good things about yourself. So that is my comparison talk, my comparison tips. If you have any others, I would love to hear them in the comments. If you also struggle with comparison, I am with you, and I would absolutely be open to hearing your story in the comments below as well. I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped you in some way. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, click the screen and subscribe, and then you can see when the next video comes out. And I will see you guys in that one. Bye!